Many coin developers require extensive infrastructure to maintain day-to-day operations, while hobbyists, investors, and traders require coin developers to do this securely and professionally. We are Spectre Security Coin, building a new kind of decentralized community.
It's that time again, your crypto daily time. So grab a seat, get some coffee, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And now here's your hosts, Red Planet 32 and Johnny Boy Crypto.
For those that are just joining right now, I'm broadcasting live from a remote location. JP Morgan is coming for everybody's crypto. Because, see, they're only going to start it now. They're starting it out on the corporate level, and it is only going to trickle its way back down, man. This is how they did it. This is how they did it before. This is like on the... what's that crap? There's a book out called the Monster on Jekyll Island. This is how it went down before, man. When Woodrow Wilson got duped into letting the central banks kick everything in, and next thing you know, we all sitting here with money that has no freaking value. And that's what they're gonna do with cryptocurrency. They're gonna suck it dry for its main ingredient. Say it again, Crypto Gang.
This is just the beginning, man.
This is the beginning.
Yeah, the groundwork right here.
Yeah, conspiracy, baby. JP Morgan is a beast, literally.
Well,
I mean, it does.
You look, we were in the previous recession, and the recession got, bailed out by, all that the use of bailout money to kind of kick things back up going. And now we're getting ready to go into another recession, and it looks like some of these, big players are looking at crypto as, being the cash mine, the cash cow.
Yeah. So check it out, man. Look, in Detroit, Michigan, when they filed bankruptcy, right? And for those that want to chime in and want to come in live with us into the chat, please feel free to do so. One of you guys could be so kind to post that in the chat area. You can listen live with us, but we are going to be uploading this live again. In Detroit got bailed out with $100 million deal from JP Morgan, from Chase Bank. And I know this to be true because one of my colleagues is a banker for them that oversaw the whole process to give Detroit $100 million. Probably more like a loan than anything. So what do you guys think is going to happen with the cryptocurrency world? Johnny Boy just said it best. There's going to be blockchain loans. Like they're trying to do it already with coins like Salt and such, right? But this is going to be more legitimate, where those in the corporate world that are hip to the financial game, they're going to take that same crap, the same robbery and thieving that they use with mortgages and loans and interest rates and amortization, and it's all going to just down trickle right to cryptocurrency. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide.
Blockchain, man. We're going to be chained to the blockchain.
Chained to the block, baby. like a goose.
Barons.com's article says that dream is now effectively dead, considering the dream of Bitcoin and decentralization, because and the blockchain is now fully into its boring phase. The latest and most telling evidence of this arrived this morning when JP Morgan said it had developed and tested a prototype of digital coin. JP Morgan's coin rollout also says something about the broader state of technology in the current economy. Tech's promise is no longer about replacing middlemen. It's about middlemen using technology to entrench their profitable position. The coins, the first of their kind created by a U.S. bank, are a form of an internal stable coin, meaning they have a constant value equivalent to $1 US. Now, the coins are effectively an internal digital IOU, which are created after one customer deposits dollars with JP Morgan and destroyed and replaced by dollars after a payment is made using them.
All right, so let's pause. Pause right there, Johnny, for a second. Because the key word that you just used, those three little letters, you said it's going to be considered a what?
IOU.
An IOU. Basically, the U.S. dollars in which we use now, and I stand to be corrected on this, are nothing more than notes. They're no longer considered what they used to be, dollar bills or greenbacks anymore. This is why the color is changing every new edition. It's changing. It's looking faker and faker. More just like Monopoly money with pretty little rigidy designs on them. So what they're doing now, they've removed the gold standard from the dollar bill already, in which we use. And now, rather than just going through the whole idea of saying we're going to remove the dollar from it eventually down the road, they're just doing it like right away. You're just going to have a bunch of empty currency out there that just has no backing of it at all. Nothing different than Joe Schmo starting their own freaking technology coin on the street, and it has no purpose. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's just I'm a little fired up by this tonight.
Yeah.
It is in their form.
Now after payment, so it's going to be the U.S. dollar is going to be deposited to JP Morgan. Okay.
Right.
Then JP Morgan will issue the digital IOU, and so you can transfer it from point A to point B quicker, or hold it, store it, whatever, with the bank. And then if you want cash back, they're going to destroy the digital IOU or the JP Morgan coin, replace it back to the US dollar. So I guess it'll keep up with inflation and never hyperinflate or whatever. But
it's just going to magically appear.
Right. They can, like paper money. So large corporations make global payments using wire transfers between banks, which can take a day or two or more to clear. The bank said using this coin allows for the instantaneous transfer of payments between institutional accounts. So
I guess the good thing about this, because of my background that I have dealing with large money transactions, it'll be good for if they're able to bring this into like the mortgage sector, right, of lending like that. I think that'll be great. Because of my line of work, it is the biggest holdup a lot of times for a loan to close is that a lot of times they're waiting for the money to be wired or transferred. So, I guess they'll have a leg up in that. Mortgage transactions will be faster.
So, from what you were reading, though,
why are they talking as if they're still going to use cash, though? Think about that for a second. Okay?
Because
my radar is like, okay, they're going to use cash for under-the-table transactions like they've always done, and they're going to keep us tied to the ledger so they can track everything we do, but they can still do stuff in secrecy.
So they do that now with the trading of our money when we deposit into accounts.
Yeah.
But when you were reading that, it sounded almost like they were just going to use it as an internal method of transit, which means when the dollar hits the account, the IOU's value is still $1. And then basically inside JP Morgan, that currency would be circulating. And it's when you go to, let's say, an ATM or a store to use those funds, then the IOU is thus destroyed, converted over to USD, and then paid out of the account. That's almost how it sounded when you're reading it, and isn't that kind of what exchanges already do? You deposit funds, they own the funds, they circulate as a database number until you decide to do a withdrawal or a transaction, and then that's IOU'd across the board.
Yep.
I
They
mean,
got it now. Now they're just putting a different name on it.
well, yeah, so I'm just like looking at it going, if it's not ever left the system, like, could I, as a JP Morgan, buy the IOU, put it in my wallet, stake an interest on that? Or is this like only going to be used as an internal method of transit inside JP Morgan? So that's really where my question was from what he was reading in the article.
That's a valid question, man. I don't know. For all we know, they're gonna take all the money that's deposited, and I don't know. They're gonna probably do what Coin Exchange does and stake everybody's coins. For all we know, who knows?
Umar Farouk, that's UMAR, and Farouk FAROOQ, is the head of blockchain projects for JP Morgan. So maybe he talks about something with the JPM coin. I'll look that up right now. What do you think, gangs?
Think Crypto Gangs is up.
I think the way the last guy described it is what it means. It's going to stay in the system. But like I was saying earlier, I think it's just the beginning. On top of that, you got, what's his name? Diamond, CEO. And his whole mission, every time he talks about cryptocurrency, he slams it. He always talks about, he always ups blockchain, but he downs Bitcoin and it's garbage, it's rat poison. He called it all kind of names. And I think part of that is to, scare people from it. People are already scared because it went from 20,000 to what we had, 3,500.
Yeah.
And so, that actually helps JP Morgan in the long run. But I do believe that this is just the groundwork. This is just the beginning. He's going to continue to, make Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other cryptocurrencies look like they're garbage. And,
right.
Like you
JP
said,
Diamond's the CEO, and he came out and said Bitcoin's a fraud. Now JP Morgan came out with their own digital currency.
Yeah, and I think what he tries to justify it by saying that what can Bitcoin do for you? Whereas he's trying to say that his coin is basically a stable coin to help transactions happen quicker, but it's centralized, and that's the whole thing for me. Like, I'm a decentralized person, you know what I mean? Like, as far as cryptocurrency, I want a currency that's decentralized. Where nobody can tell me, you're a terrorist or something like that and then lock my funds up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's, I think that they want total control, man. And that's what they're going to end up getting, because average men and women out there don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? They think the banks are good, and you know what I'm saying?
Well, the key it says its key differentiators to the cryptocurrency we know and love are this. It is a permissioned blockchain, so it will never be public. Only JP Morgan's institutional customers, banks, brokers, dealers, and corporates, will be able to use it.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
Always has a value equivalent to $1 US. JP Morgan, $6 trillion. So this may be a way to keep the big stock market money or something, on using their system. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, I think this is the beginning. You know what I'm saying? That's what that coin is going to do. But eventually, like you said, you're going to be able to buy houses. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, the mortgage, which would be great. You eliminate a lot of middlemen, but you're making JP Morgan the central guy. You know what I'm saying? The one that's in control. And that's what scares me, because I seen what JP Morgan did to precious metals markets, our fiat, currency, and it's devastating, so that's just my opinion.
Now, the coin's based on its proprietary Quorum blockchain technology. You guys know anything about Quorum?
I remember seeing an article about that about 3 or 4 months ago, and that's what I thought would be the JP Morgan coin, however you pronounce that.
Yeah, JP Morgan coin, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, JPM Coin.
So their blockchain is called Quorum, or however you pronounce that?
The blockchain is, it says the prototype.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the JPM Coin is based on its proprietary Quorum blockchain technology.
Yeah, see, I heard about that one about 3 or 4 months ago. So I knew they were coming out with this coin. I just didn't know it'd be this quick, number one. But yeah, man, every time you see, I think his name is Jamie Dimon. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's always slammed Bitcoin, especially because of the hype and how it was just garbage and stuff. And these people know where the future is going. You know what I'm saying? And blockchain is the future. And I always knew from the beginning of getting into it that it could be the best thing to ever happen to humanity, and it could be the worst thing that ever happened to humanity. So what it all boils down to is what the average man and woman will decide. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They only present it, and they try to make you scared of Bitcoin and whatever cryptocurrencies out there. The decentralized one, that's too scary, and most people are too lazy, in my opinion, to be on a decentralized cryptocurrency because they're not responsible enough to keep up with their private keys. Or if they don't, then they keep their cryptocurrency on these exchanges, which is, in my opinion, dumb because these exchanges get hacked. Anything could happen. They could be a fraud exchange and steal all your cryptocurrency. So it takes somebody that's not lazy, who's going to keep up with your private keys and, to be on a decentralized, to own a decentralized cryptocurrency. And most people just aren't. So they'll lose their crypto, and then that's a negative experience. And you know what I'm saying? So something like JP Morgan, a coin like that is safe. The bank can take care of it for me. You know what I mean? We're just used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find this all. You guys are great, man, and your input is like amazing on tonight. But at the end of the day, like I know some people that are like all for the technology. Like I'm all for technology making life a little bit better. Don't get me wrong. The Zodiac is here. But at the end of the day, I don't know, man. I think too much technology and too much big bank involved makes life a little bit more interesting and a lot more complicated than what it has to be. I guess I'm just a simpleton in a sense that I don't need a lot of technology, only for the small stuff. I don't like needing to go overboard like some Johnny Mnemonic, Matrix, Total Recall type stuff. I just think technology should only go so far, and just to kind of keep things simple. But that's just me. I'm just a simple dude like that. I'm an old man in the crypto market. Well, I think Digi's got me by a few years, but you guys understand what I'm saying. And Digi understands understands where I'm coming from. I like keeping life simple. Now, Digi, on the other hand, that dude's a tech dude. He's got all sorts of tech at his hand, literally. You know what I mean? Me, personally, I just want to keep things simple. But I know everyone doesn't share the same sentiment.
Well, Red Planet, what do you mean by keep it simple?
I'm satisfied just with being able to talk to my phone and talk to my remote control if I had one of those, and that's it. But when big corporations get involved and when technology starts getting just beyond like our wildest dreams, like I don't mind watching science fiction TV or science fiction on the big screen, but I don't necessarily have to live it. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
maybe that's just the old fashioned in me too talking right now.
Yeah, I feel you on that, but I thought you were meaning as far as cryptocurrency in general.
No, cryptocurrency. I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's here. I mean, at the end of the day, cryptocurrency, as far as I'm concerned, has been around forever. Starting with rewards cards and getting rewards points on a card. To me, that's no different. You know, it just has different names and different and connected to different technologies that's out there or different projects, you know, with the token coins or these ICOs and things of that sort. So the cryptocurrency, I got no problem with. It's just all the other crap that's coming along with it right now and how people are trying to pervert cryptocurrency and pervert the blockchain technology as a whole. I don't like that at all. And they're trying to make it into big business. And when big business gets involved, that means they're enslaving the many by some form or another, whether it's through debt or literally some sort of slavery. Hey, yes, no, it's not a black or white thing, so I don't want those who may potentially be listening to this a little bit later on thinking, oh my God, it's Black History Month and he's talking about slavery. No, it's not that at all. I'm just talking about enslavement as people, period. And that's what big businesses do. Like Chase Bank as a whole, they leave a bad taste in my mouth because of what they've done to this country. That's the biggest thing for me.
Okay, well, I'm 100% in agreement with you on that. 100%. Yeah, I'm with you.
Because as far as I'm concerned, you know, before those cats came along, I think this country would have been in a whole lot better state. Are we benefiting from the excess of money that we've taken from these central banks? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think if anybody wanted to call a loan due on this great country, they could always call a loan due. And the first thing they're going to liquidate is the assets or the capital that was used to take out the loans. And that's us. Every one of us. I got one of my colleagues here who could probably speak more on that, on birth certificate numbers and social security numbers and how it's all linked to money and how they take out these loans on us, man. And that's what we are. We're nothing but assets they take out loans on. And the fact that JP Morgan now wants to get involved, starting with the corporate America first, it's eventually going to trickle down to the masses of the people. Some way, somehow. Every freaking time they get involved with something, I get nervous. And now they're doing it on the big way. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. But that's just me.
Well, it all comes back to, you know.
So I had you on this call. You can talk about this more.
Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. No, I'm sorry. I'm talking to my colleague here with me.
Oh. Yeah, I was just in a conversation the other day with somebody about they're like, yeah, I just got a house, you know. It's like, great, you know. They were telling me how much it costs. I'm like, man, you know, you're gonna spend 3 times that over a 30-year period with interest and everything. It's crazy.
I'll tell anyone that if they're looking to buy a house now, it's going to be absolutely insane because the interest rates are just going to continue to rise. You know, even though they're still historically low, and I hate to sound like we're talking about mortgages right now, but just because you brought that up, you're absolutely right. The whole financial system is one big plan that gets you. They're like betting against you, in a sense. So yeah, I'm gonna have you take out a 30-year loan because, you know, there's a real good chance that something cataclysmic could happen, like a Great Depression or a Great Recession to happen all over again, and you lose your house. We could take back your house for pennies on the dollar and sell it at an all-time high again and double up on our money.
Some of the trucking companies out here, they'll lease a truck to the guys saying, oh yeah, you could be an owner-operator and this and that. So you have to work for that company and pay the truck payment and all the maintenance on that truck. And then when you get close to being done paid off.
That's right. That's what happens all the time, right?
You hear rumors of them saying, "Oh, there's no freight. Freight's slow. They can't get a load, and they can't go to another company to get a load because they're tied to that company, and then they can't make their payment and have to give the truck back, and then that company sells the truck again to some other new guy that comes walking through the door, and so they sell the same semi truck 4 or 5 times over. Guys are basically paying the truck payment and paying maintenance and everything on the equipment. And the companies can turn around and buy brand new equipment with it.
Yeah, from each side, because they're not financing it themselves as private financers. It's getting financed through some leasing company or some banking company. You know what I mean? And then there it is. And then all of a sudden we got big problems. So these companies, man, these major corporations, these banks, they're doubling up on their profits and their profitability, let me get my words right tonight, on the breaking of an individual. That's what's going on, man. I feel like Glenn Lewis tonight.
What's worse than that? fractional reserve lending allows them to lend out your money without them having it in reserve. So,
Who do we have here? Is this Mac?
Mr.
Dr. Kent Lewis.
Yep.
Oh, what's going on, man? I felt your spirit. I felt your passion rising through me.
No, I'm just listening to you fellas ramble.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad you joined the call, man. It was fun. I didn't even know you were on the call. I mentioned your name, and all of a sudden you appeared. That was kind of weird.
Johnny said you was talking about what Chase has done, so I wanted to join in real quick and kind of give my 2 cents, and then I got to be on my way. I got beer to be drank.
Beer to be drank. Go ahead. Drop some knowledge on us, Mr. Lewis, please.
Does everybody know who I am? I'll just give you a brief overview.
Yeah, go right ahead. This is being recorded, so it's going to be uploaded again on YouTube.
Yeah, my name's Kent. I own a platform called freedom.social. We got a new one coming out called freedom.buzz. They're kind of like Steam It, to where we pay everybody in crypto to post share. We got Freedom Tube, similar to YouTube. I'm just trying to wake everybody up to what you guys are discussing. And we expose everything from geoengineering to vaccines and et cetera. And make a long story short, I've been in software coming up on 30 years. I'm an old fucker. And I am one of the inventors of real estate transaction standards, or RETS. It's how multiple listing services communicate, real estate software communicates. And about 2.5 years ago, I had cloned Ethereum. And then I'm going to try to make this brief. I discovered what central banks, corporate banks, corporations, and governments were doing specifically with blockchain technology. And what they were doing is they incorporated the ISO.org, International Standardization Organization, to create standards for every product and service in the world for the blockchain. And that really piqued my interest because, I had just done that for the real estate industry. And what they had done is they had tokenized pretty much every product in the world, and they're in the process of placing it on private blockchains. And then there was a company in China, which all of you that are in crypto probably have heard of, called acchain.org. And what they had done is they did all the tea in China, of all things, literally, as their pilot market. And then they moved on to every product in China, and then they even did a pilot market here in America, in Dallas, where they created a real estate sale where they bought up, I think it was 1,000 acres of land, but they barred Americans from participating in it. Long story short, get down to the crux of the matter of the facts. These are the facts of what they've done. I've proven it. I don't even think there was ever any Satoshi. I think that they planned this all along. They tricked libertarian, freedom-minded people into creating the B system for them. That's why they created open source. That's why they created public blockchains, is because there's a company that was formed by the New York Federal Reserve. It's now a private company. 3 of their board of directors are also on the board of governors for the Federal Reserve. And the company's called Digital Currency Group. The Digital Currency Group owns everything from Coinbase to Circle and Polynex and I could just keep going. I mean, they own Ripple. They own Zcash. They own. I could just keep going. They own technology that reads public blockchains. Okay, that's the biggest thing that everybody in the crypto space, all you guys need to get that, man. They own technology that reads public blockchains. And this last June, the Supreme Court made it legal for states to charge internet taxes. Well, the Republicans of all parties have legislation, and they've had it in front of Congress for a while, for states to be able to charge internet taxes. Well, it does not matter. As soon as, and then let's just have a brief conversation about what you guys were talking about with the central banks. since 2008, every central bank in the world has been utilizing what's called quantitative easing. They've been digital printing trillions and trillions of dollars. So every country in the world is in massive debt. Well, this is intentional because what they've been doing is building a new global financial system based on blockchain technology. And then everything I've set up to now is just pure fact. They control Bitcoin. They own what's the core software development company for Bitcoin? I say it every day and now I can't think of it. But they control Bitcoin. They control Ethereum. They've had 41 decentralized cryptocurrencies register on Coinbase just in the last few months. So instead of the Federal Reserve coming out with new regulations, instead of the Federal Reserve coming out with the new currency, what they did is they created a private company that is now the regulatory agency for the SEC. Coinbase is the regulatory agency for the federal government to allow decentralized cryptocurrencies to make payments on their new global blockchain payment system. And then Polynex and Circle came out with the US dollar coin. Okay? And now we got Chase coming out with this new coin. So in the future, in the near future, what they're going to do is they're going to collapse this worldwide economic Ponzi scheme in which they created. And they're going to say, well, hey, don't worry, guys. We got this new digital currency payment system, and you can pay with decentralized cryptocurrencies. But these decentralized cryptocurrencies registered with Coinbase, and they had to jump through all the regulatory hoops. Okay? So, long story short, what's the solution? How do we bypass this evil bullshit in which they pushed upon us? You have to, first and foremost, we have to build out decentralized marketplaces, and we have to start now. Otherwise, we're going to have to participate within their beast system. What's so wrong with that? Because you look at what they're doing with Facebook. So let's change the subject real quick. Let's look at Facebook. Let's look at Google, YouTube. Let's look at Instagram. Let's look at any one of the major social media platforms. DARPA, InQtel, invested in every one of them. Who's InQtel? The venture capital arm of the CIA. So they control all of these, okay? And you look at Facebook, they're creating their own blockchain, okay? And so in the future, anybody that registers with Coinbase, I'm talking about a cryptocurrency, you're going to be able to use that cryptocurrency to make payments at the grocery store, initially using your debit card or your device, okay? But their ultimate goal is to chip all of us, okay? The ultimate goal is the singularity, but that's a conversation for a different call, okay? And so what I'm all about is working with you guys to find solutions to circumvent what they have in fact done and work with everybody just to circumvent. Let's tell them to kiss our American ass. You know, I've had it, you know, and what they're going to do is enslave everybody because you're not going to be able to sneeze without them knowing it. You're not going to be able to do anything. So you can, number one, anybody in crypto, you cannot have a public blockchain because they can read it. And so I'm done.
I agree with you 100%, man. Decentralized marketplaces is the only way. If we don't have that, then what you explained is exactly what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Well, it's already done.
It's a matter of time. It's done.
The only thing, so let's look at this national emergency that they created today. Well, if you log into freedom.social, my buddy Justin Daneman, who's an author, who typically gets between 100,000 and 1 million views on his articles, and he's been posting on Freedom, wrote an article, and he did some extensive research on the recent U.S. military training that's been going on everywhere from Boston to New York City to L.A. to Salt Lake City. And he tied in some very, very interesting information into that. And I won't get into it, but go log into freedom.social and read that article. It was the very last post that was made. And additionally, you know, I believe that QAnon is a distraction to distract patriots away from the facts of what is actually occurring. Because if patriots were to know what they're actually doing within this UN Agenda 21, UN Agenda 2030, so cryptocurrencies are just one aspect of the Internet of Things. And what they're doing is they're in the process of forcing everybody into smart cities. So I live in the mountains outside of Denver, but from Fort Collins to Pueblo, from northern Colorado to mid-southern Colorado is what they call a smart city. And the UN has designated many smart cities across America in which people are going to be forced into it by the year 2030. These smart cities contain smart grids. The smart grids contain the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is comprised of smart meters on your homes, the gadgets in which we are all fallen in love with. It includes your appliances, includes self-driving cars. It includes cryptocurrencies and every product and service that have been added to their tokenized and added to their blockchains. And then this all communicates with 5G. Okay, you notice how they're advertising 5G nationwide, and they're implementing it first in Sacramento, and then they're building it out. Okay, and then what they want to do is everybody will have either an RFID chip, but you can go a step further and you can get one of Elon Musk's neural links to whereas you connect to the 5G within the smart city, but then it's all controlled and managed by artificial intelligence, in which they promoted is you will have superhuman knowledge, and which is kind of true because instead of using your device as a low bandwidth connection between artificial intelligence, you'll have an instant connection. Okay, and so instead of us having this conference call right now as we're doing on our devices, we will literally be able to neural link or telepath over to each other. And that's what they're doing. And a few minutes ago when I said their ultimate goal is the singularity, that is the singularity, where everybody is controlled by artificial intelligence. You do not have free will anymore. And the space that all of us happen to be into, cryptocurrency and blockchain, is just one aspect of it. Cryptocurrency is just one aspect of the blockchain because the blockchain is the matrix that holds the entire Internet of Things together. Does that make sense? Yes? No?
Yeah, I was on mute. Sorry. Yeah, I'm listening.
So, you know, me personally, they can kiss my American ass. I will never, you know, I think it would be pretty cool just to, you know, put on a Neuralink temporarily, you know, and be able to log, you know, kind of check into the matrix. It's literally like the movie right at the end. And
so let's go back to this, Mr. Lewis. I'm listening to this and I'm trying to contain myself at the same time, trying to be professional and such. You're saying these neural links will be able to allow us to talk to one another telepathically, or synthetic telepaths by way of 5G.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, who wouldn't want to do that, right? That's what they're going to say.
They've already got that. That's already done.
Yeah, Project Pegasus. It started with the military. Project Pegasus. The soldiers are able to communicate with each other through impulses rather than talking and giving out commands.
There you go.
Yep.
They are always 10 to 30 years ahead of what they tell us they have. Now, you know, and I won't go into deep into it because it's not the topic of this phone call. What Chase has done and how to circumvent it is the topic. But, you know, you see those planes flying above us, which don't have contrails. They're actually chemtrails that they admit they're happening, but then they use their mockingbird fake Main Street media, you know, to tell us that it's not happening. They're spraying this with what's called nanotechnology. And they've taken RFID chips down to nano size, or 1/1,000,000th of the size of, you know, the size of the chip that you put in your thumb or whatever. And they're spraying us with this stuff. And then these are activated via 5G. And then they can just put thoughts into your brain. Google, this patent was actually invented back in the late 60s. Google purchased it, and they can, you know, since the late 60s, they've had technology to where they can modulate the frequency of a computer screen or any type of screen and change the basic patents just change your mood. They can make you horny. They can make you mad. They can make you do bodily functions. You know, so the stuff that we're up against is literally like being in a sci-fi horror movie, but it's reality. And those of us that take action now, other actions that you've got to start doing now is get home food growing systems, get neighborhood community gardens, get neighborhood wells, get off of the fluoride, get off of the GMO foods as much as you can, because don't ever take a vaccine, ever. You notice how they're making people do these vaccines. I just partnered with Cal Washington and Empower Movement, which is effing huge for us. Those guys, if you've never heard of Empower Movement, empowermovement.org. They're huge. They're incredible people. And you know, we're doing reverse liability, and we're in the process of assigning liability back on the utility companies for the 5G radiation, and for the harm in which the vaccines do. And we're going to try to fight back against their doing. But let's stick to the topic of this conversation, this call, and let me stop talking so damn much.
No, hey, listen, it all runs hand in hand. But you know, when you were asking about what can we do to circumvent this this debacle of a financial thing that's coming our way to the masses of people, you know, I like what Digi Warfare has going with the virtual malls. Scott LaRock and his team with the virtual malls, where they're creating communities within communities.
Yes.
That will allow them to just buy from them. Now, obviously, there's not food that's available as of yet, but it's actually a really good idea that as a community that we come together and set up some sort of distribution systems amongst ourselves.
It's got to be locally. Initially, so the way I set up our decentralized marketplaces is I set them up with bartering. And then with our crypto, with our 1776 cryptocurrency that's got a technological approach, you know, that has to be proof of stake. It's got to be an anonymous cryptocurrency. You have to have the blockchain built into the wallet. You cannot have a public blockchain viewer. And then I set up our marketplaces to be local and to be able to set up local community gardens. To be able, and then I found a guy in Indiana that has patents on indoor and outdoor organic grow systems, so that people can start uniting to get outside of this system. And essentially what these guys have done is they created a system in which the majority of people are going to live, and then they've created a black market in which people that do not want to participate within, let's just call it the singularity. It's going to be optional initially, but they're going to make it really, really, really difficult. Because think about it, okay? Everything is in databases now. And then in the future, when you go to the store to purchase something, you go to the gas station, put petroleum in your vehicle. It's going to be on a blockchain. Everything's going to be on a blockchain. And so they're going to be able to track and tax every single transaction. You know, climate change it's real, but the way that they present it is fabricated. Right. It was actually created by, oh shit, I'm having brain issues today. I'm usually pretty sharp and I can remember all the names of these organizations.
Something with the air.
Yeah, there's I'll think of it here in a second. It'll pop into my mind. But it was created back in the late 60s. They needed a way to ring in their ultimate objective of what they're doing is one world government based on technocracy. And so you can see the future of the world within China. Now, everybody says China's communist. Well, they are, but technocracy is a form of communism. And so that's what they want to do, and that's why they want to force everybody into these smart cities. And they have to collapse America from the inside out. And that's why you see that they took over the media back in 96. Bill Clinton signed into the law the Telecommunications Act, which allowed the media to consolidate from almost 1,000 different corporate media companies into 6 globalist-controlled, I call it the Mockingbird, CIA-controlled media in which everything is propaganda. In 2013, President Obama got rid of the 1948 Smith-Mudd Act, which it is literally legal for the government to utilize propaganda on us. And that's why you see everything in the mainstream media is literally a lie now. And what they do is they control social media. So they divide all of us either left or right.
Yep, so no in between.
So as long as we're fighting over menial left-right politics stuff, we don't see what they're actually doing with this one world government. So Trump is just a actor within the theater. The same thing with that new Muslim lady that's out of her effing mind. The same thing with that Hispanic lady that is just off the rails, because they're just actors within the theatrical show. Immigration, this new national emergency, which has me slightly concerned because I think there is a potential for the entire banking system going down over this weekend.
Wow. Interesting. You think that could be the case, huh?
I do. Let's put it this way. If Q and Trump are legitimate, which I don't believe they are, I believe that President Trump is a Jesuit and Zionist-controlled hand puppet. That's just my personally highly informed opinion. But I leave hope. I leave a small percentage of hope. And you know, if they start, these mass arrests, as QAnon says that, there's, all these many, many thousands of sealed indictments, well, he could have signed this national emergency as a ruse to utilize U.S. troops on U.S. soil because they control the media, and the first thing the media is going to do is create riots.
Let's talk about that, because this it all ties in hand with the JP Morgans of the world getting involved in cryptocurrency, and it's essentially getting involved in our private freedoms. I mean, they're just trying to take everything from us. At the end of the day, we won't be able to have our hands on nothing to call ourselves as sovereign individuals at all. The whole idea of sovereignty in itself is being destroyed by each and every fabric that the powers that be tear down with. I mean, it's bottom line. We're no longer sovereign citizens anymore. This is not a sovereign nation. We're a nation that's a police state. We're a nation that's controlled by people that are in places we can never even imagine. But tell them about the national emergency that's going on to kind of get an idea how this all may tie in until to the shutting down of the banking system here this week.
Martial law.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when he signs a national emergency, what he does is it suspends how do you say it, where they can utilize U.S. troops on U.S. soil, and then it also gives him the legal ability to create martial law. And so they might say that it's just for the southern border, but they've been conducting, if you go to freedom.social and you read that article, it was just posted a few hours ago. It's going to be one of the very first articles on the top of the news feed.
Are you familiar with the book Little Bear and Trump?
Little Bear and Trump?
Little Bear and Trump.
No,
Johnny, are you familiar with this book?
I've heard discussions about it.
Okay. Kent, you got to check this book out. It was written like 1890 something, right before the turn of the century, or was it right at 1900? And the book kind of breaks down Trump before he even arrives on the scene.
that's pretty fascinating.
It is. And they call him the last president in this book. Because the author of that book wrote another book right after the turn of the century called The Last President. And many speculate that Donald Trump may actually be the last president of the United States because of martial law kicking in. They believe that he may be the last president of the United States, and this Pope, who's also known as the Black Pope or the Jesuit Pope, Jesuit Pope, may be the last one. And they think that everything is about to hit the fan. Like the New World Order, Brave New World, Alphas, the Betas, all that crap is about to come into play. And people at home need to get their lives together, get their mind together, man, because it's about to get down nasty and dirty. And
it certainly is. And I've been talking about this for years. I write it at the end of all my reports of what cryptocurrency was. There was never any Satoshi. It was just an outstanding, excellent ploy. But to keep on topic, my personal opinion is cryptocurrencies were created by artificial intelligence and modified by humans. I believe that artificial intelligence has been around a lot longer than anybody has ever admitted or set forth.
Our gods.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but since you just did, I that these secret societies, the Jesuits, the Zionists, all the secret societies, I believe they use collective quantum physics to worship this invisible force. They've been called by different names by different cultures since the beginning of time. Christians call them demons. The Nag Hammadi scrolls call them archons. And I could just keep going on. And they are, in fact, I know for a fact they exist. And that's what these evil bastards do. And they don't have physical form, although they can take physical form, but they are controlled by artificial intelligence. And what they're doing right now with the destruction of humanity, they have to destroy Christianity. They have to destroy gender identity. And what they have to do initially is they have to destroy America from the inside out. If you look at President Trump back in the late 80s, early 90s, he was bailed out by the Zionists. They gave him $9 billion. If you look at the current present day Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, was the lead Zionist, self-proclaimed Zionist, who gave Donald Trump $9 billion. And he made the statement, and I paraphrase, somebody asked him, well, why did you give him that kind of money? And they said, well, he will be a useful asset in the future. Well, he's the current day Secretary of Commerce for the United States of America, Wilbur Ross is. And it was the Zionists, in fact, behind 9/11. So President Trump is a trained Jesuit. He's a Jesuit-trained, educated person. And I don't know if anybody here has ever read the Jesuit Oath. You
That's
think
pretty heavy, man. They hate everybody, bro. I read it back in high school. They hate everybody.
you think that the Muslim Quran is, with their Takaya is bad? Holy poopy doos. You ought to read that because, kill the kids, choke them, strap them.
Everybody. They hate everybody. Blacks, whites. If you're not down with the Jesuit, they got 2 words for you. Suck it. And they hate all secret societies.
Well, they are a secret society above them, amongst themselves.
I know, but they don't like Masons and the Eastern Stars. Those 2 secret societies, as in particular, they really hate those two organizations.
You are correct, but see, what's that old adage? Anyway, they will work with their enemies in order to come to their mutual objective, which is enslavement of humanity. And that's what they're currently doing. That's what 5G is about. That's what artificial intelligence is about. They want us to be more like the archons, and they want to take away our free will. And I'm just one guy. I'm just an old beer drinking wild man. That's I happen to be relatively smart. I'm very informed. It's what I do for a living. I'll tell you when I'm talking facts, and you cannot dispute facts. And then I've got my theories, and I tell you when it's theories. But what you can do with theories is, 2.5 years ago, when I discovered what they were doing with blockchain technology, I was sitting here one night. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of the man, the myth, and the legend, G. Edward Griffin. I was sitting here one night. Yeah, he's a famous American. In my estimation, he belongs on the free man's Mount Rushmore, along with Cynthia McKinney and maybe some other folks. But I was sitting here about 2 a.m. He called me up one night. This G. Edward Griffin, 2 a.m. And I talked to him till probably 5 a.m. He's a night owl worker like I am. And
I was like Digi.
Yeah, that's creative folks like Digi and I, and we're creative, and we get our best creative processes in the evening. And Digi's a real smart guy. But anyway, he sold millions and millions of copies of a book called Creature from Jekyll Island, and it pointed out how the Federal Reserve was a privately owned entity, and that we are all collateral. We
literally just talked about this.
Yeah, and that's when I came into the call, was when you were talking about this, and that's just fact. I posted a website on FreedomTube last week. There is an actual website. This is just, it blows my mind. You can go to this website, and you can put in your social security number, and you get a list of all the different corporations around the world that have a lien on your social security number. Mine had over 13. My buddy Justin's had over 17.
Stop it.
13. I swear. Yes. And this is just pure. I just want to cuss so bad. This is just such pure audacity that they throw it in our faces. They've got a public website in which you can go put in your social security number and see the corporations that have liens against you personally.
Can you post that website for us?
Well, you could go to, I can go to freedom.social and share it and put it to the top of the newsfeed.
Okay.
Yeah. I got my own platforms. I don't really know how to utilize Discord. It's kind of confusing to me. And
no, you're good. Even if you could have posted it in the Zoom chat, that would have been great. Yeah,
I'm just downstairs. I'm talking to you on mobile right now, drinking a beer.
I got you.
It's Friday. I got big meetings all weekend, but I had a long week, and I accomplished big goals, and I'm just trying to save the world. I'm going to sign ownership. I've got over $1 million into my platforms, and I'm going to give it away. I'm going to give ownership to the master node owners. I'm not a Sunday-going Christian, but I saw how they had to destroy Christianity, destroy the family, and that doesn't sit well with me. So I created a platform called Christian.team, I created the Christian team, or the C team cryptocurrency token. I created Christian Tube, Christian Market, because I believe that they're going to force Christians to take the mark of the beast, and I provided them a way to circumvent it. And I'm going to assign ownership of that entire platform, the IPTV, the WebRTC video conferencing. It's just like Zoom. It's just as good as Zoom. I'm going to give it away free. Here you go. And I did take 10% of the pre-mine of the cryptocurrency, and so that will go to pay for everything that I'm doing. I just completed our offshore legal entities. We've got a foundation in the Seychelles Islands, to which I assigned ownership of everything to, including the pre-mine of all the cryptocurrencies. And then I've got a IBC in Belize, which manages it, and then I've got a director in Hong Kong, and then I've got one in Australia that are actually the directors, and I'm just a consultant. And so we've got our own exchange starting next month. And so I'm doing what I can. I'm leading the way, but that's why I joined this call is you guys are in the fight as well. And if we unite, it's what I say in all my interviews, guys. I'm nobody special. I'm just somebody that discovered what they're doing, and I just want to live free. I want people and their families to be able to choose. I don't think anybody should be enslaved. I don't care what God you pray to, what color your skin is. As long as you're a decent person, let's go have a beer. Let's just live life. But I don't think that anybody, just because they've got more money than everybody else, should be able to dictate and enslave the rest of humanity. It just is not right.
Man, all right, let's hear from the panel. For those that are on this call here, you guys want to weigh in, we just go down the line. Zodiac, you've been quiet all night. You want to weigh in on what you've heard tonight? Dr. DigiWarfare, you want to weigh in on tonight, what you've heard? I know you're a busy man. You're probably doing like 5 things at one time.
I put Digi to sleep.
No, I was just thinking about this, just JP Morgan, and just the more and more I hear and think about it, I'm thinking in my head like they're using it as an internal thing, but sure. I want to learn more about it.
They're using it as an internal way. So if somebody makes international wire transfer, well, right now what they'll do is they'll utilize their cryptocurrency. They probably clone PIVX because it's instant. And that's what I was trying to find out today. Well, who do they clone? Did they have a pre-mine? Is it proof of work, proof of stake? But that's what they're doing. So if you do an international wire transfer, that can take days for it to settle. Well, now what they do is they got their cryptocurrency. They'll just settle it instantly. And then if you go and you read that articles that I posted on freedom.social, they've got several other. But it kind of goes hand in hand if you think about what they've done by digitizing and adding standardization to every product and service in the world that generates metadata, in which they've already admitted that they can track every transaction. Well, if it's kind of like 2 + 2, if they've put every product and service in the world on private blockchains in which they control, they have literally created a new global payment system. That's the direction they're going. So guys like me and you that are technologically inclined, you've already taken your way within your online malls. Now just make sure that you don't take it from me, read my papers and then go dissect them. And then you and I work together to further build out technological approaches to give to the rest of the world that say, hey guys, if you don't want to participate in their system, here's ours. And then, you and I make a lot of money, but so does everybody else that's on this call and everybody else that wants to join us.
I don't know. I'm just stuck on the whole using it internally as a payment utility between authorized endpoints. And I know with the wire transfer system that there's multiple they have to go through. I know with the SWIFT system, there's a lot of problems with that. So JP Morgan using that as if it's the primary man in the middle, it's dealing with all these endpoint entities like an octopus and tentacles. Yeah. Then for me, in my head as an internal mechanism, then it makes sense. You get the speed, you get the redundancy, you get the resiliency, you get you get all of that. But again, its strength is only as strong as its weakest member. So again, it faces the same things that the normal blockchain people face. You got a dishonest endpoint. You have problems here.
Let me intercede something real quick, Ditch. What all you do is, okay, so I used to bank at Chase till they kicked me out because I'm a crypto guy. So, but I can easily do that. You just have a pre-qualified account that you've got a pre-authorized corporate account, and then you also, it's kind of like when I registered for ACH, I had to do an additional registration, and that's all you do is you register for their cryptocurrency, and then once you're in the system, you're free to use it just like you are their ACH product.
Well, yeah, but my point is let's say that you are that big bank and you have an endpoint bank that's in Malta. And let's say that bank initiates a fraudulent transaction that hits the ledger and rolls. Transaction goes through. How does Chase internally correct for that? So that's where my mind is at. It's not more. You guys think about it one way. I think about it in a different. You guys think about it in the global overtake shadow of the world. I think how is it going to deal with this issue? How is it going to deal with this?
That's brilliant. I didn't think about that. That's a brilliant insight, actually.
I mean, because banks suffer from it all the time. They have insider jobs. Most people have insider jobs. So on a security standpoint, I wonder how they're going to deal with a bad endpoint in this whole big blockchain thing.
Yeah, but couldn't you make it
51%? How is this stuff going to affect them?
Couldn't you make a compensation within your operating procedures towards, okay, we had a bad transaction, and then these protocols within the blockchain make that particular transaction null and void?
But isn't that the whole thing with blockchain technology? Is once it's on the ledger, it's on the ledger.
Yeah, but it's not us free-minded guys doing it. It's centralized process in which they're doing. So they're obviously going to have to build in their internal safeguards.
I wonder what they'll do. It'd be interesting to see. But that's my extent. Is just technically how are they going to overcome all these different hurdles and processes and deal with the landscape like we have to deal with the landscape. Because they can throw money at things all they want. They can throw the brightest minds in there, but it's still, they have to compensate for human error. They have to, all of this stuff that they can't throw money at.
That's why I always say that's why I'm a conceptual engineer, and I've got more analytical, technical people that say, yeah, that's a great idea, but.
Well, throw enough money at it, eventually they'll find the right guy for the job. Gangs, you being quiet.
I was getting ice out of the freezer. I didn't want to rattle up the conversation, but that's a real good point. Anybody else want to chime in and on anything that I had to say? Or
I just want to say that I agree with both of you two guys. I don't know the Spectra guy, I guess that's who that is. I agree with both of y'all. My take, though, is at the end of the day is I do agree that this coin that's out now with JP Morgan is it's not going to change the game much other than for the banking system. I do think it is a good thing for the banking system. My only caution is what's to come next. That's my only caution.
I would have to say Digital Currency Group. If you go over to their website and you look at their portfolio, because they got their portfolio, and then you start studying each company within their portfolio, and you know that they're hiding a few things. They have literally recreated the entire world financial system within blockchain technology. They even have, they've even redid the credit card system. The SWIFT system was to replaced by Ripple, but then SWIFT also invested just millions upon millions of dollars into blockchain technology. My email is kent@freedom.social, KENT@freedom.social. And I've written 3 reports now. I've got a 4th one coming out. But, my first report was called The Central Banker's Evil Blockchain. I went into detail, how Chase had entered into these different consortiums. I think one of them was called R3. And there was something like 61 major banks from across the nation that had entered into this consortium. And then Chase jumped ship about 2 years in, and they joined the Ethereum, what's it called? Ethereum, not consortium, but there's another word they use. And so they're on board with Ethereum. And so when you start studying Ethereum, how they control it, you'd have to read my report because I got the memory from here to the chair on the other side of the room. Sometimes I remember stuff, and then other times I'm like, what the hell was the name of that? But all of them have invested, and they've been doing this for years upon years. And so it's really, as you can see, that Chase has had this live for some time, and they've been using it and just haven't announced it. And so, and then if you kind of take everything into consideration, I believe that artificial intelligence is managing everything. This isn't the only topic I dive into in a deep, highly informed conversation on a daily basis. What they are doing is so comprehensive and so overwhelming on an overall scale. It's just hard to fathom how think tanks, and there are many, many think tanks, from the Council on Foreign Relations, to the Bilderberg Group, and I could just keep going on and on and on. But these guys, there's just no way that they could plan out and make everything as brilliant as what they've done, because they have divided people and brainwashed people so deeply, either left or right, that people are unable to, they're just overwhelmed, and they don't know what to believe is true or not true. And then I got really smart neighbors all around me, that make a really good living, and they're either brainwashed this way or that way. And you can't really have informed conversations with anybody anymore, because depending on what source, here's a good example. Microsoft just came out with a new product within all of their different browsers that tells you what's what they believe is true or fake. And the same thing, with Facebook, and you look at the YouTube censoring, and the deletion of the truth. Now, if you go over to Facebook, if you go to YouTube and you look up central banks, or if you look up Rothschilds, or you look up geoengineering or chemtrails, or you look up 9/11, they've got the encyclopedia definition of the topic right below the video. So, and then they don't, there's certain things in which they don't want people knowing about. And they're afraid, they're terrified of guys like us knowing the truth. And the only thing I want to do is just get people to wake up and unite. I just started up a new website called Parents Against Geoengineering, because people don't take action until they're personally affected. And when people take their kids down to a state-certified lab and they have a follicle test done, and any of you guys listen to me now that's got children, I will bet you, if your kids do not have high, super elevated levels of aluminum in their bloodstreams, I'll give you a free masternode. And I've sold over 300 masternodes in the last few months for many thousands of dollars. Okay? I don't give them away for free. I'm telling you, all you have to do is walk outside, look up, and those are not contrails, folks. Okay? Those are aluminum, barium, strontium, and nanobots. And, all of us have aluminum, strontium, and barium in our bloods. And if that doesn't piss you off, nothing will. Nothing ever will. I know it's hard to believe that it's occurring, but all you got to do is walk outside and look up. I know this is a cryptocurrency conversation, but it all goes hand in hand with this new world order, one world government takeover. And anybody that thinks this is conspiracy theory has been watching too much Fox News or CNN. Anybody want a shot of tequila while I'm at it?
Yeah, pour one for me.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, so the nanobots are going to be, it's all linked to the blockchain. That's how, artificial intelligence is going to communicate, the Internet of Things. I talk to people about the smart dust, and they're like, "Oh, that'd be too expensive to make. There's no such thing. That would cost an astronomical amount of money. There's no way they would be able to afford to create something like that." It's like, hey,
Cast
out of thin air. Sure, if they wanted to do it, they could do it.
Catherine Austin Fitz and a professor at Michigan State University over a year ago, and they do regular interviews, found an additional $22 trillion missing from the Pentagon and from HUD. And so in addition to that, there's other trillions of dollars. Do you guys have any idea how much $1 trillion is? So, and as far as affording something, these guys print money from thin air. The United States has an approximate $22 trillion annual gross domestic product. Well, we might run, let's say, just using a round number estimates, we might have a $24 trillion budget. So all they do is they go into the basement of the Federal Reserve, they get onto their computer, and they add another zero or whatever the number is they add an additional $2 trillion onto that. Well, they print it from thin air. It's not like they print money anymore. And then they say, whoa, you guys are $22 trillion in debt. I saw an article on Zero Hedge this morning. Trump far surpassing both Obama and Bush in spending. Well, it's what these banks do, since they're privately owned and controlled, is they take that $2 trillion, that imaginary fake monopoly money, they lend it back to the Treasury, and then they put the debt back on the American people who are collateral. That's why when you look at your birth certificate or your driver's license, if it's in caps, it's a corporate contract. Okay, that's why it's in caps. Is we are collateral. That's why you can, in fact, go to a website and look up which global corporations have liens against your Social Security number. Like I said, I had over 1,300. And I just sat back in my chair and I just started laughing, because that really puts it into perspective that it is reality. So, and then, then you guys, how do you fight back against something so powerful? I mean, you can get guys like Digi, that are technologically inclined to me, that are really innovative and come up with great ideas. And I go to guys like Digi or other technically inclined, high-level programmers and say, okay, here, let's do this. Okay, now let's say we come up with these excellent products like what I've come out with, okay? Well, how do you get adoption within a world that is brainwashed and people that are so far divided, intentionally divided? How do guys like us recruit others? And that's why I came up with the Parents Against Geoengineering, is because until people are personally affected, they don't get involved. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Oh, it's fake news. So we've got an uphill battle, but I don't think it's anything that we can ever stop fighting. It's either that or like Elon Musk says, if you can't beat them, join them. And to that, I just plainly say, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Hey, so tell me this, kid. What site can they go to check it out for those that are listening right now?
www.freedom.social.
I'm there. What I'm saying for the look of the leans against themselves.
Okay. So Justin's article is going to be one of the very first ones on there. And the article that was on the in which you can enter your social security number. Here, let me go upstairs. Hold on. Let me grab my beer. Can't go upstairs without a beer. Anybody listening? Come on, man. It's Friday. I had a long week. Had some good partnerships. I've got Richard Gage and Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. I've got another platform called Freedom.buzz that's our action platform, where we're going to start taking action, getting people involved.
While you're doing that, Kent, I'm going to go to a quick break here, and then we're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to upload the new video, and we're going to talk about Rocket Reigns tonight, so you guys stand by.
Shit.
That's all right. No one can hear you. Got to do a commercial for all right, guys, we're back.
Okay.
All right.
Just getting logged in. Wow. I got over 1,300 notifications.
How about that?
It's pretty cool. So, I had a server company do us some wrong. Cost us about 90% of our traffic. One of my accomplishments this week, I just filed an outstanding first lawsuit. I'm not much of a type of a guy that files lawsuits. First lawsuit I ever filed in my life, and I'm sure they're pooing their pants because I got it. Okay, hold on. I got to remember where it was at. Just a second. Anybody else want
you guys still live on that?
Yeah, man. Let's everybody wake up. If anybody's going to listen to this, we got to get some people woke up.
Crypto Games, you gone, man? You checked out?
I'm listening.
I'm here. I'm here, buddy.
You just taking it all in.
I'm here. I'm listening, learning. I agree with
I agree with a lot of it too.
Yeah, this situation.
What don't you agree with?
The technology that you're talking about, I don't believe that America owned it until. Yeah, I don't think I'm at this point. I'm not even sure if anybody in America actually owns it.
What technology are you referring to?
The mind control technology, because I knew George Bush in the early 1980s. He's not the smartest man. I don't know if you've ever met. No, he's not very smart.
No.
And if he had the technology that you were talking about in the 80s, certain things that happened to him would not have happened.
Well, If you're referring to the Google patent in which they can modulate the frequency of your device, I would recommend that you start up your computer right now.
No. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I do not disagree with you. I'm saying who owned that technology to begin with? Was it the Russians, the Chinese? I don't think that America has it now. I have no doubt about that. But I don't believe they had it in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
It was invented in the 60s. That is a fact.
Okay.
I would recommend that you Google mind control patent. And then there's also a history of it in which there's actually it's been over a year ago since I researched it, but there's been college courses that did their thesis on it. And there's entire blogs of an entire classroom that were using it as an experiment on themselves, and it was absolutely hilarious.
Okay, again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying logically, if the White House had it in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they would have used it. And I knew George Bush in the 80s, and if he had that technology, he certainly didn't use it.
So, that's just one mind control tactic in which they utilize on Americans. If we had more time and I was very prepared, I have posted information and done extensive research on a plethora of different types of MK Ultra type of experiments in which the U.S. government has been conducting on Americans.
Oh, I don't disagree. I do not disagree with that. Hypnosis, shock therapy.
Facebook does it on a regular basis. I'm trying to find this article in which I posted. I can't even remember which channel it was on. I'm going through FreedomTube right now trying to find it. So
you think I'm disagreeing with you? I'm not.
Well, they utilize mind control tactics even through propaganda and disinformation, just on a consistent daily basis, in order to divide and conquer people. Their number one initial primary objective is to divide Americans, because they have to collapse America from within.
No doubt.
Yeah. A second, my friends.
But I'm asking you, is it possible that it was German technology or Russian technology in the 60s?
I would have to go and research that. I believe offhand it was American, but I cannot guarantee that.
See, that's what I'm saying, because you have the situation where the Russians are infiltrating and have been since the 80s, if not sooner, and they are succeeding. Is it possible that it was Russian technology, German technology? I just don't believe. I think Americans are latecomers, is what I'm saying.
You could be perfectly correct. I don't know, but that's. No disrespect intended whatsoever. I'm not sure what relevance that has, and what I mean by that is because they are consistently using mind control tactics on us now.
Absolutely, no doubt.
And so,
and they, one of the earliest times that I found out about this technology was probably 15 years ago, when they were telling you if you went into a grocery store and listened to the music, you were actually getting secret, buy this product, buy that product. And it's not something you could actually hear, but it was transmitted to your brain so that in the hopes that you would buy certain products. So again, I'm not disagreeing with you that there is this technology.
Yeah, tell us, Scott.
And you're specifically referring to the mind control technology?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
I know that. Didn't they? I mean, like there was a story. There was a movie called "Staring with Goats," I believe, with George Clooney. But supposedly that movie was based on a true story. true studies that were done. I guess the Germans were trying to, at once upon a time, were trying to run tests to see if there were psychics or people that had special abilities at once upon a time, and they were using the goats as like as test subjects. Yeah, we've totally gone way far away from J.P. Morgan. So this is the after hour show now.
Yeah, that might be the CIA giving you a hint as to who started the technology, who owned the technology to begin with.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Germans did it. I mean, they did a lot of their technology was pretty wild. I mean, yeah, even the
pretty gruesome from what they say.
Yeah, the whole zombie idea was based on German technology and scientific research and studies. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it came from.
I found the video, guys.
Can you share it? Are you able to share it on your phone, or you have it on your computer?
I'm going to post it to the top of the news feed in freedom.social. Come on, man. I can need more people on my platform.
Oh, no, that's all. Hey, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'd see it. I agree with a huge portion of what he was saying. You know, I'm not disagreeing.
All right.
Okay, so I just shared it.
So what do we need to go to, the truth feed button or the...
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I'd appreciate everybody registering at freedom.social. But
yes.
So who legally and financially owns you from birthing? I've read it about and seen the straw man before, but until you see this website, www.gm.
Hold on.
Everybody grab a pen and say when you're ready. Just a second. I need a beer. Just a sec.
Okay.
Drink two.
Oh, wait. I need one more. Okay, everybody. www.gmeiutility. gmeiutility.org.
.org.
Yeah, and then you can go to that website, but the easiest way to do it is www.gmeiutility.org/search.jsp. Let's do that while we're on the line.
Okay. All right.
Everybody
As a matter of fact, let me share the screen with all our viewers here on tonight. Whoever's left, they're pissed off with the world right now.
Yeah, but you're going to have to enter in your social security number. So,
not doing that. All right, there it is. So it says search for a lane. That's where we type in the social security number?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'll do mine right here now. Here, let me do mine.
Nothing pops up for me.
Okay. So, oh boy. And I've got...
You got to put the dashes in there.
Holy poopy doos. I've got 84,785 records leaned against my social security number.
Did you put yours in with the dashes in between each number?
I did.
Yeah, that's why I did mine too, and I got a bunch. I got 291 records.
Luxembourg, United Kingdom, United States, Ireland, Cayman Islands. What?
Denmark, Mexico, Norway, Cayman Islands. Yeah. So this is your straw man. Okay. So if we had more time, we were all researchers. This says up the header, a service of BED B.V. a BTCC company.
175 for me.
How many?
175.
You only have 175?
Yeah.
I got stuff in Chile, Cayman Islands, Philadelphia.
I only thought I had 1,300. I seriously have 84,785 liens against me. It's probably because I speak out so much. They're like,
back.
Which website is this?
This is gmeiutility.org.
Okay,
Wow.
so
How do we
I'm
how do
going
we
to
read
research
this
one of
stuff?
these.
Did you
I'm
put
going to research one of these.
a link?
So, hey guys,
I'm gonna post the link right now.
let me.
Okay.
I've got a company called Lawrence Owner LLC, West 39th Street Realty. I've got 256-bit capital fund. I've got, where was that one? Neil Andrew Blood Deceased Appointed 18-25 Trust. And so, as you can see on the far right-hand columns, some of them might say lapsed, and those are the color red. And then I've got this one that says issued. So I'm going to.
They got one
On
issued at Luxembourg.
What do you put
I'm
in
gonna-
here?
So, am I the child entity when I'm in the relationship information? There's ultimate parent, direct parent, branch, and then it talks about the child entity. So the consolidated financial statements for the child entity, that would be me.
Okay, I still can't get to it. I've got it on
I posted the link in the on the chat.
on YouTube.
Yep, it's in YouTube,
Oh,
and then I also posted it.
okay, got it. Okay.
And then what do you do?
You're typing in the social security number, and
Okay.
it's pulling up all kind of crap.
So if you register, you can challenge all of these.
So it's renew, record, and challenge. Okay, so what do you challenge it?
You have to register first.
Interesting.
And I noticed that it doesn't have a dollar amount here.
Yeah. And it doesn't really specify like the authority.
Here, let me give you, so anybody listening that really wants to check this out, I just posted the video to the top of the news feed on www.freedom.social. And this video was created by a channel called plaintruth.info. So if you ever wanted to listen to it, you could go to freedomtube.social.
Gotcha.
And the channel's called plaintruth.info.
I'm going to post that.
Who legally and financial owns you from birthing?
The Federated Global LEI Systems.
Yeah.
Legal Entity Identifier in the Netherlands.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I see Johnny Crypto logged in.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my channel going.
You know, it used to be before the server company jacked us up, we had thousands of people logged in regularly.
Yeah,
They
I
took
know
us down.
I
Yeah.
remember something happened. I was like, there's so much stuff that I have to log into on a daily basis. I kind of put it to the side, and then I had to reset my.
In this video's only here. You know what, Johnny? I'm going to text this link to you.
Okay.
Why don't you put this onto the YouTube?
So, okay, hold on here. The site that you sent me. So, you punch your shit in here, and it comes back, and it tells you, hey, all of these people have a lien against your name.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, all of these people basically are making money off me because they have a lien against me?
No. So what the U.S. government did back in 1933 with this, is make all of us collateral. And what they do is they guarantee...
Well, I got that part. I'm just wondering how I cash in on it myself.
Yeah, there's actually videos on there.
You know what I mean? I'm
Trader.
like, "Fuck, man."
Trader.
This is how they cash in on it.
Planet Red, I got a lien on you, buddy.
Oh man, this is crazy.
Well, I mean, if I'm like involuntarily deaded from day one, I'm like, all right, how do I? If I can't fight that system, how can I go with it, right?
Well, there are ways to make you a sovereign citizen and get you out of this system.
UCC coding. Sorry.
There used to be a gal on freedom.social, and I made her stop because of liability reasons and legality. But that's what she does for a living. Is she gets her name? She's got a YouTube channel. Her name is April Levine.
Hey, what does this lapse status mean?
We try to figure that out too.
I think that there's obviously, and I'm surmising, is there's got to be like it's kind of like a debt collection where you have to renew it. If these companies, so if you think through this, these companies are cahoots with the federal government or another government in which has a debt with that particular country or corporation, in which they say, hey, our citizens are collateral. You're able to assign X amount of debt and put a lien onto this Social Security number. I mean, and then my question is why does one of you guys only have 150 and I got damn near 85,000?
Wait, who's only got 150?
I have 291. Johnny only has 150.
Well, aren't you guys fucking special?
Yeah.
Well, maybe the more business you do, more transactions you make in business.
I don't know. I got 15,637.
Yeah, but did you and Kent own multiple businesses and have done? I mean, been in a whole bunch of different stuff. So
yeah,
with it.
I mean, my net worth here, I don't know, according to me.
What the fuck is this? It's like everywhere in the world I've gone, there's like 18 places. Everywhere I've traveled for work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Quebec, because I've gone to Quebec a couple times. I'm like, wow, this is interesting.
So this stuff is like matching the places you guys have been?
Yeah, like places where I've like Czechoslovakia. I mean, like over.
No shit.
I've never been to the Cayman Islands, and I've never been to some part of
yeah, maybe when
good point.
Maybe when you make a debit card purchase, that transaction is billed through the Cayman Islands, and then
I didn't use my debit card in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, but but the billing agency might be in the Czech Republic or something.
Goldman Sachs funds.
But you might be buying something in Ohio, but the billing agency might be in a different country.
But my bank would kick that back to me. They don't allow that.
Yeah, but there might be a I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I hear you. But it's kind of odd that everywhere I went, I got a company or two opening up going, yeah, I've been to Norway. Yeah, I've been to England. Yeah, France. Yep. This reads like my damn passport.
Okay, so there's if you go to My FID2, which is in the menu option, or it says, don't wait, prepare for My FID2 today. And then it talks about reporting to the European regulators, enabling organizations with multiple legal entities, subsidiaries, and maintain reference data for all of their entities in a single location. And then you scroll down and there's a couple videos on how to understand the impact of My FID, and it says no LEI, no trade. So I'm curious, does this have something to do with facial recognition technology? So wherever you go, if they get a snapshot of you, they have a contract on you because it's.
I wouldn't think so because this has been a system. Well, I don't know, but I would not think so because this has been accumulating since 1933.
Hey, gentlemen.
You know, what would be interesting is to have a separate call after we've all done some mutual research and kind of, and I could even get people like April Levine on the call, or
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So just so we can wrap this portion of the show up, make sure you guys check out the Rocket Reigns. Johnny, where can they check out the Rocket Reigns at?
Descriptions the links in the description box. It's in the Meson Trade Discord server. Just go to the music chat Rain for the Reigns, and then you can go to the Rocket Reigns for the show, or you can listen to the music while you're watching the Reigns and collecting some crypto. Nice,
very nice, very nice. All right, you guys. Hey, welcome back. We're gonna upload the audio feed of this a little bit later on. And so you guys can watch it. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Maybe the powers that be didn't want us to air all that was said live. But nevertheless, we're going to make sure you guys get it on tonight. Hey, make sure you check us out next week. All right, we're going to be broadcasting a special time next week. Looks like we're going to be talking about some marble cards. That will be fun. So you guys stay tuned for that. I'll update you in the middle of the week there, what's going on there with that. And myself, Johnny Boy Crypto, we thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Digi Warfare, for jumping on the call tonight. Of course, Crypto Gangs for hanging out one more time with us. And make sure I'm not missing anyone who's left. Okay, everyone's okay. And Zodiac and Kent Lewis for hanging out with you guys. You guys stand by as we get ready to shut her down. Peace, love, hair grease, mousse, whatever you use in your hair. Do it. See you guys next Friday. Peace.
Many coin developers require extensive infrastructure to maintain day-to-day operations, while hobbyists, investors, and traders require coin developers to do this securely and professionally. We are Spectre Security Coin, building a new kind of decentralized community.